Today I'm going to be doing a challenge build that was requested by one of our common viewers, Eric P. Eric requested that I make a concentration breaker build, trying to break concentration in as many ways as possible. How many can I fit into this one character? So, here we go. For the race, I chose Satyr for a very specific reason. Now, Satyrs have magic resistance, which is something I definitely wanted on this character. I wanted someone who just innately resists magic more than others, but they also have a higher than normal movement speed, which had them beat the Yuan Ti and anyone else who might have magic resistance as well. That extra little bit of movement speed is going to help us get in close, which is something we're going to want to do as a Bladesinger. Now, the reason I've picked Bladesinger is that we want to have the options to break spells, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm more focusing on breaking spells than I am on specific concentration. So counterspell and dispel magic are going to be huge parts of being a spell breaker, and I want to combine that with strong concentration breaking spells to also be able to fight characters that aren't casting spells. I didn't want this to be a one-trick pony. I wanted it to be able to work in many situations. Now, we are also taking the Mage Slayer feat, which means any damage we do to a mage, they roll their concentration rolls at disadvantage. So we're just naturally going to be breaking, even just hitting with our sword. And what's pretty cool is if we're within 5 feet of an enemy and they cast a spell, we get a reaction attack to hit them. And if it's a concentration spell, we can end concentration basically instantly, which is pretty neat. I do like that, because a summon can't do anything in that case. They try and cast a summon spell, bam, gone. You wasted the spell slot, you basically casted counterspell as a reaction for free. Pretty cool, and some damage to boot. Now, the general strategy we're going to go through is we want to choose one spell to concentrate on that is going to be our fight-winning spell, and in the case of Bladesingers, that is often a sustained damage spell. So something like Shadow Blade, where you cast it once, and then you are able to continually use it to do very good damage. Other spells include like Animate Objects. Hypnotic Pattern, though it doesn't do damage, is a fight-winning spell that will often come up. We always want to begin our combat by casting one of those spells, and then we can have the rest of our spell slots to be reactionary to whatever spells our opponents are using. Now, because our concentration is being used up on our fight-winning spells, I selected anti-magic spells that are mostly non-concentration. And if they do have concentration, they should have a good reason why I'm using them specifically. So let's jump into some of these spells. At first level, my selection of anti-magic spells is Silvery Barbs, Magic Missile, Detect Magic, and Absorb Elements. Magic Missile is excellent at breaking concentration because it hits multiple times, and when you take the feat the Mage Slayer, which we do in this build, they roll each of those saves at disadvantage. So unless they have the shield spell to completely counter our magic missiles, this is going to break concentration very, very often. And it's excellent at breaking one target's concentration for no concentration on our part. As for Silvery Barbs, this helps us make our enemies more susceptible to our spells that can affect them. For example, Suggestion is going to be a spell I talk about. And what happens if they pass and we really need it to succeed? Silvery Barbs can follow up, and we can use our reaction to make them re-roll that, and now they have a better chance at failing that saving throw, and now we get the suggestion off. Detect Magic is going to be a staple on any Mage Breaker build. We need to be able to see magic to react to it, to know what to cast Dispel Magic on, and it's just a cool role-playing thing that we can see magic. I would be casting this eternally and always wanting to have my eyes be able to see magic when I'm role-playing this character. The next one up is Absorb Elements, which speaks for itself. Many spells are elemental in nature, and we can protect ourselves from burst of damage by reducing it by quite a bit. As for second level spells, we do have Suggestion, which is our first. That is concentration based, but it's a really powerful concentration spell because once we get it on someone, there's no way for them to get it off, save us hurting them, us or our allies. So if we cast a Suggestion on someone and say cast no spells, they can't cast spells for hours, and we and our allies, as long as we don't hurt them, do damage to them specifically, they can't cast spells for a very long time. so it is a powerful anti-magic ability. The next up is Magic Aura, which is kind of an interesting take on anti-magic because it's kind of anti-divination magic. We are keeping our enemies from getting the information that they want. Usually I consider this more of a DM spell, and I really do stand by that, but in this case, I think it would be fun role-playing to try and find where you could use this in a campaign and see if you can actually get it to have a lot of impact. And other than that, it just really fits the flavor. Next up is See Invisibility. Mages are known to cast invisibility or other spells that make them invisible, and we can now counter it with See Invisibility. Simple enough. Moving on to third level spells, of course, we have Counterspell, we have Dispel Magic, and Sleet Storm. Sleet Storm is excellent at breaking many people's concentration. If there's one enemy, I'm probably not going to use Sleet Storm. There are situations where I would, but I usually would probably use Magic Missiles. But when there's a whole bunch of people, there's very few spells that are going to be as efficient as breaking a lot of concentrations than Sleet Storm. I'm not going to go deeper into the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, 9th level spells. I feel like the core of anti-magic is here. You can find stuff elsewhere, but this gives you the theme and the idea without having to go through the rest of the spell slots. This is more of a character concept overview than it is a fine-tooth comb every detail. What would you do with this character? How would you flavor it? What extra mechanical elements would you add to tune it up and maybe make it either better or cooler? Let me know in the comments down below. We are D&D Daily. We release new D&D content every single day, so if that's interesting to you, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.